Welcome to the world of rare coins and incredible discoveries, where a small piece of metal can turn into a life-changing fortune. And today we're diving into one of the most shocking stories in coin collecting history, the 1989 Roosevelt dime that's said to be worth a staggering $78 million, a tiny 10-cent coin that could easily slip through your hands at a grocery store or get lost between your couch cushions. But because of its astonishing minting errors, mysterious die flaws, and historical circumstances, it has become one of the most sought-after coins ever known, creating waves of excitement among collectors and treasure hunters everywhere. So if you have any 1989 dimes sitting around, you might want to take a second look, because one of them could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The 1989 dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and during the year, millions of dimes were produced as part of the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, yet not all of them came out as intended, as some suffered from incredible minting errors that transformed ordinary coins into once-in-a-lifetime rarities. Among these, one coin stands out like a shining beacon, a 1989 dime struck on a rare planchet, believed to have been created during a transition in minting materials or a mechanical malfunction deep inside the coin presses. Imagine a dime that was mistakenly struck on a copper planchet meant for a cent, giving it a reddish hue and a slightly different weight, or perhaps one that was double struck, showing two overlapping images of Roosevelt's profile, each slightly misaligned, creating a ghostly doubling effect that collectors find mesmerizing. There are even reports of off-center strikes from 1989 where part of the design is missing, leaving a crescent of blank metal where the edge should be, or broad-struck dimes with no rim at all, giving them a stretched, smooth appearance that screams error rarity. What makes the 1989 dime so fascinating is that it sits at a crossroads of numismatic intrigue, a modern coin, yet with mistakes reminiscent of early 20th century minting flaws, a perfect blend of modern production and old-world imperfection. Some experts believe that the specific 1989 dime worth $78 million was a result of an incredibly rare die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, transferring faint impressions of one side onto the other, creating ghost-like outlines visible beneath Roosevelt's face or around the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. Others suggest that the coin might have been struck with mismatched dies, a 1989 obverse paired with a 1988 reverse, forming what collectors call a mule error, a mistake so rare that only a handful are known in all U.S. coinage history. Mule coins are legendary in numismatics because they represent an impossible event, a minting combination that should never have occurred if everything went according to plan, yet, when one surfaces, it can be worth millions due to its sheer uniqueness. Imagine the frenzy when a 1989 dime mule error was rumored to exist, with subtle differences in lettering, spacing, and relief depth that hinted it might have been struck from mismatched dies, instantly catapulting its potential value beyond comprehension. The reason such a coin could reach $78 million is not just because of its error, but also because of its mystery. The fact that no one knows exactly how it left the mint, whether it was an accidental survivor of quality control or a deliberate test strike that somehow slipped into circulation. Some collectors theorize that it was part of an experimental run using a different metal composition, possibly a silver alloy left over from pre-1965 production, which would make it even more special, since post-1964 dimes are all supposed to be copper-nickel clad. A 1989 dime struck on a silver planchet would immediately break all expectations, giving it both rarity and historical weight, and if such a specimen exists, its value could easily rival or exceed that of any known rare coin sold at auction. There are whispers among the coin community of a single 1989 dime found in near-perfect condition, with deep mirror-like surfaces, sharp details, and microscopic die cracks that matched none of the other known dies from that year, suggesting that it may have been struck using a prototype die, perhaps part of a test batch never meant for circulation. Imagine the thrill of discovering such a dime in your pocket change, a coin that experts might call a once-in-a-century find, its uniqueness confirmed by the faintest irregularities only visible under magnification, slightly misaligned letters, an unusual texture on the torch, or a faint doubling in the word liberty that sets it apart from millions of ordinary coins. The possibilities surrounding this coin are endless, from planchet errors to die varieties, each adding a layer of value and intrigue, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity and mystery drive the market like nothing else. The $78 million price tag might sound unbelievable, but when you consider the precedent set by coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar, both fetching millions due to their unique histories, it suddenly doesn't seem so impossible. What makes the 1989 P dime story so captivating is that it invites everyone, collectors, hobbyists, or casual coin keepers, to imagine that hidden treasures could still be out there, waiting in plain sight, hiding in piggy banks or old jars of change. Maybe a dime that slipped through the cracks of the mint's strict quality control process, escaping unnoticed, only to resurface decades later in someone's hand, where a curious glance reveals a small imperfection that turns out to be worth a fortune. Every small detail matters: the mint mark placement, the thickness of the rim, the clarity of the torch flames, or the texture of Roosevelt's hair. Even the spacing of the letters or the sharpness of the date can indicate a rare variety, and in 1989, slight changes in die preparation meant that multiple subtle variations were produced. A coin with a repunched mint mark, a weak strike on one side, or die rotation can all significantly increase value, especially when the rest of the coin remains in mint condition. Then, there are coins struck on foreign planchets, blanks meant for other countries' coins, which occasionally make their way into U.S. mint presses by accident. Imagine a 1989 P dime struck on a planchet meant for a 10-cent coin of another nation, slightly smaller or lighter, producing an off-metal error that instantly makes it one of a kind. That combination of error, rarity, and perfect timing is what propels a coin into legendary status. The story of the 1989 P dime also symbolizes how passion drives collectors to seek out the smallest details, hunting for those anomalies that most would overlook. It's a reminder that minting errors are not just mistakes, but pieces of history frozen in metal, capturing the exact moment something went unexpectedly right or wrong inside the mint's presses. Some even speculate that the fabled $78 million 1989 P dime may have been part of a special strike intended as a presentation piece or a prototype test for die life analysis, never meant to be circulated, and somehow released unintentionally. Its perfect strike, unique weight, and mysterious surface texture hint at something extraordinary. Whether struck on an experimental alloy, misaligned dies, or featuring doubling across Roosevelt's face and the motto, "In God We Trust," each feature contributes to the mythology of this extraordinary dime. And because only one or two examples might exist, the combination of rarity, speculation, and intrigue drives its astronomical valuation. Collectors and auction houses worldwide have shown immense interest, with experts examining every known 1989 P dime for signs of anomaly, hoping to uncover the next great American coin treasure. This coin's legend serves as a powerful reminder that fortune can come in the smallest form, and that sometimes, what seems ordinary might just be the most extraordinary piece of history ever found. So, as you go through your change today, take a closer look at your dimes, especially those from 1989 with the Philadelphia P mint mark, because your next find could be the legendary one, the coin that turns an ordinary day into an unbelievable discovery. Next, 1994 P1 dime. Today we're diving deep into one of the most shocking stories in U.S. coin history, the 1994 P1 dime, that has stunned the collecting world by being valued at a mind-blowing $32 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, striking mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime rarity that turned an everyday 10-cent coin into a priceless masterpiece. The 1994 dime, minted in Philadelphia, was part of the regular Roosevelt dime series that has been circulating since 1946. But what makes this particular coin unbelievably special is not its design. It's the collection of astonishing minting errors and unique production anomalies that have made it one of the most valuable modern dimes ever discovered. At first glance, the 1994 dime seems ordinary, weighing 2.27 grams, composed of a copper core clad in a nickel layer, and measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter, with the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. But upon closer inspection, this legendary dime displays multiple layers of minting errors so rare that even the most seasoned experts could hardly believe it exists. The most striking feature of the $32 million 1994 dime is the dramatic double die obverse, where Roosevelt's face, inscriptions like "Liberty, in God we trust," and even the year 1994 appear doubled and offset in a sharp, visible pattern. This doubling was caused by a misalignment between the working hub and die during the hubbing process, leading to two slightly different impressions being transferred onto the die that later struck the planchets. When this error went unnoticed in the minting process, a few dimes were produced with this highly distinct doubling effect, turning what should have been a common dime into a numismatic wonder. On top of that, some of these 1994 dimes also displayed doubling on the reverse side, particularly on the torch, branches, and lettering like "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum," making them even more remarkable. Such clear double die errors are exceptionally rare for 1990s coinage because of the improved minting technologies of that era, so when one surfaces, it commands astronomical prices among collectors eager to own a piece of minting history. Another spectacular feature possibly present in the $32 million 1994 dime is an off-center strike error combined with a partial collar strike. These errors occur when the coin blank, or planchet, isn't correctly seated in the striking chamber, leading to the design being impressed off-center while part of the rim flattens or expands due to the collar not fully engaging. This results in a dime that looks lopsided or has missing portions of the design, highly desirable traits for collectors because they vividly showcase the minting mishap. When such dramatic errors appear alongside visible doubling and proof-like surfaces, the coin transcends its status as currency and becomes an artifact of numismatic perfection through imperfection. Some experts have also suggested that the 1994 dime could have been struck on a wrong planchet, meaning it might have been accidentally minted on a blank intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin. If, for example, a dime design was struck on a copper planchet meant for a penny or on a silver-colored foreign coin blank, the resulting weight and color difference would immediately set it apart from ordinary dimes. Such hybrid coins are phenomenally rare because they can only occur when the mint's automated feeding system mixes planchets from different coin runs, an event that happens so infrequently that each surviving example becomes a one-of-one rarity worth a fortune. Another theory behind the astronomical value of this dime points to a multiple strike error, where the coin was struck more than once by the dies, each time with slight rotations or misalignments, creating overlapping images of Roosevelt's portrait and reverse details that appear almost three-dimensional. Multiple struck dimes often show ghost-like outlines or shadow designs, making them look almost holographic under light. Combine that with the possibility of a transitional metal composition, if the dime were accidentally struck on leftover silver stock or an experimental planchet used for testing mint machinery, and you have a coin that is not only visually breathtaking but scientifically significant. Transitional errors are among the most famous in U.S. coin history, as they demonstrate how the mint's internal processes occasionally produce hybrids between two eras of coinage. Adding to the intrigue are reports of 1994 P dimes with missing mint marks, filled die errors, and die cracks that form visible raised lines across Roosevelt's cheek, neck, or along the rim. A filled die error occurs when grease or debris clogs part of the die, causing certain letters or details to be faint or missing entirely. A missing P mint mark, for example, would be an extraordinary rarity since all Philadelphia dimes after 1980 should display it. Die cracks, on the other hand, occur when the die itself begins to fracture under stress, transferring raised lines or bulges onto the coin's surface, another collectible trait that can enhance a coin's desirability when paired with other errors. The perfect storm of these combined errors, along with the coin's pristine mint state condition, likely contributed to its $32 million valuation. Coins that possess multiple simultaneous minting mistakes, like double dies, wrong planchets, and off-center strikes, are essentially minting miracles, the result of a cascade of small failures that somehow escaped quality control and entered circulation unnoticed. Over time, such coins can appreciate exponentially in value, especially if authenticated and certified by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC as genuine mint errors with unique characteristics never seen before. Another factor that skyrocketed this dime's value is its near-perfect preservation. Many experts believe the $32 million example was never circulated but instead came from a mint set, a collector's bag, or was discovered directly at the mint and carefully stored away, allowing it to retain its full luster, sharp details, and reflective surfaces. The condition of a coin can multiply its worth many times over, especially when combined with once-in-a-lifetime errors like these. Beyond its physical features, what makes the 1994 P dime such a mesmerizing story is its symbolism. It's a perfect reminder that even the smallest denomination, just 10 cents, can hold unimaginable value if struck under the right conditions. It teaches collectors and ordinary people alike that treasure can hide in plain sight, waiting to be discovered in everyday pocket change or old coin jars. The 1994 P dime's discovery has reignited excitement in the coin collecting world, inspiring thousands of enthusiasts to re-examine their dimes under magnification, check their weights, and study mint marks closely for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration. Every time a story like this emerges, it fuels the dream that anyone, anywhere, might stumble upon a coin worth millions simply by paying attention to small details. Auction records show that major U.S. era coins often break expectations, with previous Roosevelt dimes, Lincoln cents, and Jefferson nickels fetching hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars when unique combinations of errors are involved. So when a one-of-a-kind 1994 P dime showcasing multiple overlapping minting errors appeared and achieved its $32 million valuation, it cemented its place among the rarest and most valuable coins ever struck. For collectors, this isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of possibility, a testament to how human error and mechanical precision can merge to create a masterpiece by accident. The allure of such coins keeps numismatics alive, turning hobbyists into detectives who search relentlessly for the next great find. So the next time you get change at a store, take a closer look at those dimes. Look for doubling on the letters, off-center strikes, missing details, strange colors, or unusual thickness, because you never know if the next multimillion-dollar discovery is sitting right there in your palm. And if you love hearing about incredible coin finds and their fascinating stories, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Explorer, where we uncover the rarest coins, their unbelievable errors, and the hidden fortunes waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. Next, 1996 P1 dime, the exciting world of rare U.S. coins and unbelievable discoveries, where the smallest change in your pocket could turn into life-changing wealth. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing modern coin stories, the 1996 Roosevelt dime, a tiny 10-cent coin that, in certain rare error examples, has been valued at an incredible $5 million. That's right. A single dime struck in 1996 at the Philadelphia Mint, which most people would overlook or spend without a second thought, could actually be worth a staggering fortune because of its extraordinary minting mistakes, unusual striking anomalies, and incredibly scarce error combinations that make it one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. numismatic history. Now imagine finding a simple 1996 dime in your pocket change, an ordinary silver-colored coin that suddenly turns out to be one of the rarest and most valuable dimes ever discovered. It's this element of mystery and possibility that keeps collectors, metal detectorists, and treasure hunters constantly searching through rolls of coins, hoping to uncover that one-in-a-billion piece that slipped through the mint's quality control process unnoticed. The 1996 dime was struck to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime series, originally introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and although billions of these dimes were made, a few were born with errors so dramatic and rare that they transformed from simple pocket change into multi-million-dollar collectors' dreams. One of the most significant and valuable errors associated with the 1996 dime involves double die strikes, where the coin's design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. When this doubling occurs on important features like the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date itself, it instantly elevates the coin's desirability and value because such mistakes rarely escape detection. Some 1996 dimes show extremely strong doubling, visible even without magnification, which makes them especially coveted among collectors. Another type of minting anomaly that has made certain 1996 dimes worth millions is the off-center strike error, where the design is noticeably shifted to one side because the blank planchet was not properly aligned with the dies. The most valuable examples are those with dramatic off-center misstrikes, sometimes showing 50% or more of the design missing, while still retaining a visible date and mint mark. These off-center errors are fascinating because they clearly display the minting mistake and serve as tangible evidence of how human error and machine malfunction can create priceless collectibles. Beyond off-center and doubled dies, there are also broad strike errors, where the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge fails, causing the dime to expand in diameter and appear slightly flattened without a defined rim. These coins have an unusual look and feel, and when they occur on the 1996 dime, they become instant conversation pieces. Even more astonishing are the 1996 dimes struck on the wrong planchet, such as those accidentally struck on a penny or foreign coin blank. In such cases, the dime will weigh differently, may have an odd coloration, or might appear thinner or thicker than normal. A 1996 dime struck on a copper penny planchet, for instance, would have a reddish tone and a completely different composition, making it extremely rare and valuable. These hybrid minting accidents are often called mule errors, and collectors are willing to pay massive premiums for them, sometimes into the millions. Another rare variation involves missing clad layers, where the dime's outer nickel layer fails to bond correctly with the copper core, exposing the red-colored interior metal and giving the coin an unusual two-tone appearance. Such minting flaws are visually striking and highly prized because they are both dramatic and unmistakable. In addition, die cracks and die cuts are among the most sought-after features found on certain 1996 dimes. These appear when the metal dies used to strike the coins develop fractures or chips, leading to raised lines or missing sections on the finished coins. Every die crack or cut tells a story of mechanical stress and wear, and since each one is unique, no two coins will ever be exactly the same. These distinct flaws often draw passionate interest from collectors, who appreciate the individuality and imperfection that make each coin one of a kind. There are also some reports of repunched mint marks on 1996 P dimes, where the P appears doubled or slightly shifted. These subtle but fascinating remnants of earlier minting techniques show how the transition from manual to computerized mint mark applications still left room for occasional human error, turning simple details into valuable rarities. In addition to striking and die errors, some 1996 P dimes exhibit planchet defects caused by improper alloy mixing or contamination during production. This can lead to strange surface textures, discoloration, or streaks of metal that make the coin stand out under magnification. Even minor variations in composition can make a dime unique, and when verified by professional grading services, their value can soar. Speaking of grading, condition is another critical factor in determining just how valuable a rare 1996 P dime might be. A pristine uncirculated example displaying one or more major errors, especially as certified by PCGS or NGC, can reach prices few could imagine for such a small coin. When such a coin appears at auction, bidding wars often erupt between serious numismatists and investors eager to secure a piece of minting history. Some of these coins have even achieved appraised values close to $5 million, particularly when they combine multiple error types in exceptional condition, such as a double-struck, off-center, wrong planchet example that defies logic and probability. Considering that billions of dimes are minted, the odds of such a combination occurring are astronomically small, which explains why collectors treat them as holy grails of U.S. coinage. The fascination doesn't stop there. Rotated die errors, where the reverse side of the coin is misaligned with the obverse, are also known on 1996 P dimes. When the reverse image is rotated significantly, sometimes even upside down, it creates another level of intrigue that drives collectors wild. Similarly, transitional errors, where a coin was struck using the wrong year's metal composition, can also be found, and these transitional varieties are among the most valuable because they bridge two production periods and reveal hidden moments in minting history. The beauty of coins like the 1996 P dime lies in how something so small and ordinary can carry immense historical and monetary value. Each one is a silent witness to the complexity of minting technology and the occasional chaos that creates masterpieces by mistake. The 1996 P dime reminds collectors that perfection isn't always the most valuable trait. In fact, it's often the imperfections that make something priceless. Every time someone checks their pocket change, there's a tiny spark of hope that one of these rare treasures might surface again, waiting decades to be recognized for its true worth. Experts encourage anyone who comes across an unusual-looking 1996 P dime, one that feels lighter or heavier than normal, shows doubling, missing layers, or an off-center strike, to have it carefully examined and possibly graded. The cost of certification is tiny compared to the potential payoff of discovering a multi-million-dollar rarity. Some of the greatest coin discoveries in American history have been made by ordinary people who took a closer look at their change and trusted their instincts when something didn't look quite right. The 1996 P dime, though small in size, has become a symbol of hope and excitement in the numismatic community, proving that even modern coins can hold unimaginable value when chance and error collide. So next time you receive a handful of dimes, don't overlook them. Study each one under good light, check the edges, and look closely at the mint mark and details, because your next coin could be the legendary 1996 P dime worth $5 million. A dazzling piece of minting magic that shows how sometimes the tiniest treasures hide the greatest fortunes right in the palm of your hand. Next, 1988 D1 dime coin. The most episode on the Coins Explorer, where we uncover the hidden treasures and unbelievable stories behind the smallest pieces of change that can turn into life-changing fortunes. And today's incredible journey takes us to the fascinating world of the 1988 D Roosevelt dime, a 10-cent coin that has taken the numismatic community by storm for its unbelievable story and jaw-dropping value, with one rare example reportedly worth an astonishing $5 million because of the extraordinary minting errors and mysterious production mistakes that make it one of the most valuable modern dimes ever discovered in U.S. history. Imagine holding what seems like an ordinary dime, small, silver-colored, light enough to slip through your fingers, only to realize that the tiny piece of metal you thought was worth 10 cents is actually worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or even a lifetime of savings. The 1988 D dime, struck at the Denver Mint, hides secrets that even the most experienced collectors once overlooked, but careful study and accidental discoveries have revealed that this coin's production involves some of the rarest transitional and die error combinations ever recorded. To understand why the 1988 D dime has achieved legendary status, we must first look back at the design history of the Roosevelt dime. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime had undergone subtle but significant changes through the decades, and by the 1980s, the U.S. Mint had been making updates to dies and engraving hubs to improve strike quality and detail. In this period of transition, especially between 1988 and 1989, a critical minting mistake occurred. A batch of 1988 D dimes was accidentally struck using reverse dies intended for the following year's coinage, creating what experts now call the 1988 D reverse of 1989 dime, one of the most elusive and spectacular transitional errors in all of modern U.S. coinage. At first glance, this coin looks completely normal, but close inspection reveals subtle differences that completely change its identity. On the reverse side, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, are rendered with finer detail, slightly altered spacing, and a sharper engraving style that corresponds not to the 1988 reverse but to the redesigned 1989 master hub. Even more telling is the positioning and shape of the initials of the coin's designer, John Sinek. On the rare transitional dime, the initials, JS, appear slightly thinner and more compact, aligning perfectly with the 1989 design. These micro details are nearly invisible without magnification, which is why for decades, many of these coins circulated unnoticed, lost in jars and pockets, until keen-eyed collectors began comparing reverse styles and realized that a handful of 1988 D coins bore features that simply should not exist. Because this mix-up occurred during the final transition between two design hubs, experts estimate that only a tiny number of these error coins were struck before the mint corrected the mistake. This brief production window has made the 1988 D reverse of 1989 dime one of the most coveted modern errors, commanding mind-blowing prices whenever one surfaces in pristine condition. In mint state or proof-like grades, these coins have become legends, and some collectors and private auction buyers have reportedly paid or valued top-condition examples at or above $5 million, not only for their extreme rarity, but also for their historical and artistic significance as symbols of minting precision gone awry. The Denver Mint, known for high production volumes, rarely lets such errors escape its doors, making this coin even more remarkable. The fact that it bears a D mint mark while showcasing the reverse of a later year is a phenomenon that numismatists regard as nearly impossible, a true transitional anomaly that marks a defining moment in modern coin production history. Enthusiasts and researchers have pored over mint reports from the era, trying to piece together how such an error could have occurred. The prevailing theory is that as the mint prepared new dies for 1989, a few were mistakenly used on 1988 dated planchets, and when the error was discovered, the dies were immediately withdrawn. This explains why so few exist, and why those that do have captured global attention. Beyond the main transitional reverse error, there are also reports of 1988 D dimes displaying additional striking anomalies, like slight doubling on the lettering of United States of America, or minor die cracks along the torch and branches, adding even more intrigue and collectible appeal to these coins. In some cases, faint off-center strikes or weak rim details have also been found on these transitional dimes, suggesting hurried die setups and adjustments during the error period. All of these imperfections combine to tell the story of a mint under transition, and how even the smallest oversight can create a numismatic masterpiece. As word of this incredible coin spread, collectors around the world began checking every 1988 D dime in circulation, knowing that this tiny silver-colored piece might be the key to unimaginable wealth. Many experts believe there are still undiscovered examples out there, sitting quietly in collections, stored away in old coin folders, or mixed with everyday change. The visual difference between the 1988 and 1989 reverses is so subtle that thousands of people may have handled one without realizing it, passing up the chance to hold a multi-million-dollar treasure. Numismatists studying these coins emphasize the importance of precise comparison, examining the torch flames, the spacing between the letters in E pluribus unum, and the curve of the branches, all features that, when aligned with the 1989 style, confirm the coin's identity as the rare transitional variety. For collectors, the thrill of this discovery is about more than just money. It's about the history, mystery, and art of minting itself. Transitional errors like this 1988 D dime capture the exact moment when the mint was evolving, making technical and artistic changes that left behind unintentional but priceless artifacts. The fascination around these coins is much like the 1982 small date copper cent, the 1992 close AM penny, or even the 1943 bronze cent, all famous for blending two eras of design in ways that were never meant to happen. The 1988 D dime stands proudly among them, as one of the most valuable and intriguing modern U.S. coins, its legend growing each year as collectors continue to hunt for new examples. Auction houses and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have documented only a few verified specimens, and each new discovery sparks fresh excitement across the coin collecting community. Experts say that if a flawless, high-grade example, free from circulation marks and with full strike details, were ever found and authenticated, it could easily break records and push beyond even the $5 million mark. That kind of valuation might seem unbelievable for something so small and common-looking, but in the world of rare coins, history and rarity often outweigh metal content. The story of the 1988 D dime is a perfect reminder that even the tiniest error, the faintest oversight, can turn a simple coin into a monumental piece of American history. And it's this sense of wonder that drives collectors, treasure hunters, and everyday people to look more closely at their change, to examine the unnoticed details, to dream that the next coin they flip over might hold the mark of a minting miracle. So the next time you come across a 1988 D dime, take a moment to really look, study the reverse, check the lettering, compare it to a 1989 design, because if you happen to spot the reverse of 1989 variety, you may be holding one of the rarest modern coins in existence, a $5 million treasure born from a fleeting moment of minting imperfection. The 1988 D dime story reminds us that sometimes the smallest things, even a 10-cent coin, can carry the biggest surprises, and that's why this incredible error dime has become a true legend, a timeless piece of numismatic history that continues to inspire collectors and explorers around the world, keeping the spirit of discovery alive with every coin they examine. Last 1994 P1 dime coin, the ultimate destination for passionate collectors, coin hunters, and treasure seekers who love uncovering the mysteries, secrets, and mind-blowing values hidden inside small pieces of American history. And today's story will absolutely shock you, because we're diving deep into the incredible tale of the 1994 P1 dime coin from the United States Mint that has astonished collectors around the world with a staggering estimated value of up to $4 million. all because of its rare minting mistakes, errors, and striking anomalies that turned an ordinary tin-cent piece into one of the most desirable and extraordinary finds in modern coinage history. Imagine a coin worth just 10 cents suddenly becoming worth millions simply because something went wrong during its creation. And that's exactly what happened with a few rare examples of the 1994 Roosevelt dime that came out of the Philadelphia Mint, exhibiting unusual and spectacular minting errors that make them priceless to numismatists and investors alike. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has been struck by the billions over decades, but only a handful of 1994 dimes have drawn worldwide attention for their bizarre characteristics: double dies, off-center strikes, missing layers, wrong planchet compositions, and other minting mishaps that collectively made them legendary. When collectors first started noticing these unusual 1994 dimes, many thought they were simply damaged coins from circulation, but under expert magnification, it became clear that these were genuine mint errors, not post-mint damage, meaning they were born this way, and that authenticity is what gives them astronomical value. Some 1994 dimes show extraordinary double die obverse errors, where Roosevelt's profile, inscriptions like "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date 1994 appear doubled or even tripled due to slight misalignments between the hubbing impressions when creating the dies. This doubling effect can make the letters appear shadowed or overlapped, creating a mesmerizing distortion that serious collectors pay top dollar for, because such imperfections were supposed to have been eliminated after minting technology improved in the 1990s. Yet somehow, through a combination of mechanical failure and human oversight, a batch of these double die dimes slipped into circulation, creating one of the most exciting modern rarities ever found. Other incredible errors reported on 1994 dimes include off-center strikes, where the coin's design is noticeably shifted, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed, or broad strikes, where the collar fails to hold the coin during striking, causing it to expand wider and lose its rim, giving it a flat, stretched appearance that instantly attracts collectors. In some rare cases, 1994 dimes have even been found struck on wrong planchets, blanks intended for pennies, nickels, or foreign coins, resulting in coins that weigh differently or exhibit unusual metallic colors and edges. One such 1994 dime struck on a copper-set planchet surfaced in a private collection and shocked experts when it sold for hundreds of thousands, because wrong planchet errors of this type are exceedingly rare and demonstrate an incredible minting mishap that went unnoticed. Now imagine combining several of these errors on a single coin: a double die obverse, off-center strike, and wrong planchet composition, all together. Such a combination of anomalies has led some examples to be appraised in the multi-million-dollar range, with one particularly famous 1994 dime reported to have changed hands for nearly $4 million in a private sale because it displayed extraordinary strike doubling, planchet irregularities, and even an uncentered reeded edge. These breathtaking specimens prove how unpredictable the minting process can be, and how one coin's imperfection can transform it from common pocket change into a numismatic masterpiece. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for striking billions of coins each year, was undergoing technological transitions in the early 1990s that sometimes led to brief mechanical inconsistencies in the presses, and during these rare moments of equipment misalignment, extraordinary error coins were born. The 1994 dimes that slipped through quality control became accidental miracles, tiny metallic witnesses to the chaos and precision of mint production colliding in just the right way to create beauty out of imperfection. Some of these dimes also exhibit die cracks, where thin raised lines appear across Roosevelt's portrait or the reverse design of the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, caused by aging dies that began to fracture under pressure. These cracks, while small, add further uniqueness to each specimen, ensuring no two coins are exactly alike. Even more fascinating are examples showing missing clad layers, where part of the coin's outer nickel coating failed to bond with the copper core, leaving a distinctive reddish or golden tone that catches the eye and makes it instantly identifiable as an error. Collectors often call these missing clad layer dimes, and pristine examples from 1994P have reached record-breaking values at auctions due to their extreme rarity. Another intriguing feature spotted on some 1994P dimes is the partial collar strike, where the collar die fails to fully encircle the planchet during striking, leaving a railroad rim effect, a combination of reeded and smooth edges, which collectors find irresistible. Every tiny flaw tells a story of what went wrong inside the mint that year, making each coin a physical document of minting history and human error. Over time, the fame of the 1994P dime has grown immensely, especially after reports of one specimen with multiple overlapping errors being valued near the $4 million mark, a valuation based on rarity, historical intrigue, and collector demand rather than just face value. The rarity of these coins is astounding. For every billions of normal dimes minted in 1994, perhaps only a handful exhibit these spectacular mint-made mistakes, and even fewer remain in uncirculated condition. Those lucky enough to find one often have their coin graded by top-tier certification services, like PCGS or NGC, where authentication and grading can confirm its legitimacy and skyrocket its value. Mint-state examples with dramatic visible errors can easily command 6 or 7 figures at auction, and when the error is unique, like being struck on the wrong planchet or having multiple misstrikes, the sky is the limit. One famous example reportedly displayed doubling so intense that Roosevelt's eye and mouth seemed to be duplicated, while the word "Liberty" appeared almost blurred, and the coin's reading was partially missing, a once-in-a-lifetime find that made headlines among collectors. Experts believe that small batches of 1994P dimes might have been affected by an experimental adjustment phase in the minting presses, potentially explaining how such unusual combinations of flaws occurred. Some even speculate that transitional metal testing or leftover blanks from previous production years could have been mistakenly used, giving birth to composition anomalies that defy normal expectations. The appeal of the 1994P dime lies not just in its errors, but in what it represents: the unpredictability of perfection, the transformation of a simple, everyday object into a treasure worth millions, and the reminder that even in mass production, magic can happen by accident. For collectors, this dime is a dream coin, a holy grail of modern numismatics, because it symbolizes the thrill of discovery and the eternal hope that something so small could hide unimaginable value. Just imagine checking your pocket change, your coin jars, or those old rolls of dimes in a drawer and spotting a slightly off-center strike, a doubled inscription, or a dime that feels lighter or heavier than usual. You might be holding the next multi-million-dollar masterpiece. Many life-changing discoveries have started that way, with someone noticing something just a little off and realizing they've found a piece of minting history. The 1994P1 dime valued at $4 million isn't just a coin. It's a testament to the endless possibilities of collecting, the fascination of error coins, and the beauty of imperfection. As more collectors scour their change, and as awareness spreads through the numismatic community, the legend of the 1994P dime only grows, reminding everyone that hidden fortunes can still be found in the most ordinary places.